Class 12th, Subject Physics, 4th chapter, Thermodynamics. From this chapter, let us see the thermodynamic static variables, and from this, what are the intensive and extensive variables. So let us see the thermodynamic state variables. When temperature of a system changes, that is, it gains or loses heat energy, then its other properties can change. The property of a system or a system variable is any measurable or observable characteristic or the property of the system when the system remains in equilibrium. For example, pressure, volume, temperature, density, and mass of a system are some of the variables that are used to describe a given system. Now, the variables will be classified as intensive and extensive variables. So, the variables which do not depend on the size of the system are called as intensive variables. The variables which do not depend on the size of the system are called as intensive variables. On the other hand, the variables which depend on the size of the system are called as extensive variables. The variables which depend on size of the system are called as extensive variables. When a system in equilibrium is divided into two equal compartments, each with half of the original volume, then in this case the temperature T, the pressure P, the density rho, as well as the mass m, these are some of the variables. Now out of these variables, the pressure, temperature, density are the intensive variables. So if you consider these intensive variables, then in that intensive variables, the temperature, pressure as well as density will be included, and the total mass m as well as internal energy U of that system will be included in extensive variables. So mass as well as the internal energy will be included in this extensive variables. Now let us see the next point, that is thermodynamic equilibrium. So what is actually the thermodynamic equilibrium? The system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium or in chemical equilibrium or in thermal equilibrium. Now what is that thermodynamic equilibrium? So a system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium if it satisfies the mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, and thermal equilibrium simultaneously. A system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium if it satisfies mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium, and thermal equilibrium simultaneously, and therefore this will be the thermodynamic equilibrium. So for that there will be mechanical equilibrium, chemical equilibrium as well as thermal equilibrium. If all these equilibrium are present simultaneously, then that system is said to be in thermodynamic equilibrium. Now let us see first, that is the mechanical equilibrium. What is the meaning of mechanical equilibrium? The system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium when there are no unbalanced forces within the system and between the system and its surrounding. Similarly, the system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium when the pressure in it is the same throughout and does not change with time. So the system is said to be in mechanical equilibrium when there are no unbalanced forces within the system and between the system and its surroundings. Similarly, a system is also said to be in mechanical equilibrium when the pressure in it is the same throughout and does not change with time. Now let us see the second equilibrium, that is chemical equilibrium. Now what is the meaning of this chemical equilibrium? So the system is said to be in chemical equilibrium when there are no chemical reactions going on within the system, or there is no transfer of matter from one part of the system to the other due to diffusion. A system is in chemical equilibrium when its chemical composition is same throughout and does not change with time. So the system is said to be in chemical equilibrium when there are no chemical reactions going on within the system, or there is no transfer of matter from one part of the system to the other due to diffusion. Similarly, a system is in chemical equilibrium when its chemical composition is the same throughout and does not change with time. Then let us go for the third equilibrium, that is thermal equilibrium. Now what is that thermal equilibrium? The system is said to be in thermal equilibrium when the temperature of the system is uniform throughout and does not change with time. The system is said to be in thermal equilibrium when the temperature of the system is uniform throughout and does not change with time. Now let us go for next point, and that is the thermodynamic state variables, and equation of state. So what is that thermodynamic state variables and what is the equation of state, that we will have to consider. And therefore from this point we know that every equilibrium state of a thermodynamic system is completely described by specific values of some macroscopic variables called as the state variables. For example, a gas is completely described by its pressure P, volume V, temperature T, and mass m. So these variables will be considered as the thermodynamic state variables in case of the gas. Then the thermodynamic state variables describe the equilibrium states of a system. The various state variables are not always independent. They can be mathematically related with each other. The mathematical relation between the state variables is called as equation of state. The mathematical relation between the state variables is called as equation of state. For example, for an ideal gas, we have the equation PV equal to nRT. So this PV equal to nRT, that equation will represent the equation of state for an ideal gas. So in this equation, P, V and T are the pressure, volume and temperature of the gas respectively. N is the number of moles of gas present and R is the ideal gas constant. So for a fixed amount of gas, there are only two independent variables such as pressure and volume, or pressure and temperature, or volume and temperature. Now let us see the variation of pressure and volume is given here in this graph. Along x-axis volume is plotted, along y-axis pressure is plotted. Now there are two positions A and B, and this curve represents the variation of P and phi, that is PV diagram. So here if you consider point A, its coordinates are phi1 p1, so v1 and p1. For the second point B, the coordinates are phi2 and p2. So that is the variation of pressure and volume for a given amount of gas. The graphical representation of equation of state of system or a gas is called as PV diagram. So like this, if pressure against volume, that graph is plotted, then it is giving the relation between pressure and volume, and therefore the graphical representation of equation of state of a system or a gas is called as PV diagram. A pressure volume curve for constant temperature is called as isotherm. If you plot a graph of pressure against volume for a constant temperature, then it will give rise to isotherm. Then let us consider some of the PV diagrams. So in order to explain these PV diagrams, already we know the work done is given by the formula W equal to integration phi I to phi f P dV, that will be equal to P into phi f minus phi I, where phi f is the final volume, phi I is the initial volume, and P is the pressure. Now let us consider the first PV diagram. So volume is plotted along x-axis, pressure is plotted along y-axis, and in this case the first position is presented here, the second position is presented here, and then the variation of pressure and volume is represented here. Now in this case there is change in volume, so phi1 to phi2. Similarly pressure will be changing from P1 to P2. So as there is change in both pressure and volume, but in this case there will be increase in volume. There is increase in volume from phi1 to phi2, and therefore as there is increase in volume, there will be expansion of the gas, and hence the work done, that is equal to area under this curve. This shaded region will represent this work done, that will be equal to integration phi I to phi f P dV, and that will be nothing but greater than 0, that is positive. So this work done will be positive because there will be increase in volume of the gas. As there is increase in volume of the gas, therefore the work done will be positive because there will be displacement. In the second diagram, again volume is plotted along x-axis, pressure is plotted along y-axis. Again now here second position is at this top and first position is here. That means that volume will change from phi1 to phi2. There is decrease in the volume, that is there will be compression of the gas, so that there will be increase in the pressure but decrease in the volume, and therefore the work done will be equal to area under this curve, that is the shaded region, that is equal to integration phi I to phi f P dV, which is less than 0, that is that work done is negative. Now let us go for the next curve. So if you consider along x-axis, again volume is plotted, along y-axis pressure is plotted, but in this case this pressure will remain constant here. The pressure is constant, and now in this case volume changes from phi1 to v2 from position 1 to 2, and therefore work done will be equal to area under this curve, that is this shaded region, that is equal to integration phi I to phi f P dV, and that will be equal to P into phi f minus phi I, phi f minus phi I. Now if there is change in volume, this work done we will get, but sometimes if there is no change in volume, then at that time work done will be equal to 0 because there will be no displacement, and hence work done will be equal to 0.